No, no, the time is wrong. I don't know why it says I'm going live in 8 hours because I set it to now. Bit confused about that one. Just give me a moment. Okay, can you guys hear me? And is there any buffering on the stream? Hi Jeremiah, hi Mia King, hi Black Phoenix, hi Cass Paras Kuslaika. How's it going? We're gonna spend about 3 minutes of saying hi to people, and then we'll get started. Ready for class? Go kill it in class, dude. Been a while since I caught this live. Well, this will be a slightly different stream. Love your videos, Potato. Keeping me sane in lockdown. Appreciate that, Richard. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, okay. Not an issue. Doesn't look like it. Okay, you guys are giving me very mixed messages. Because YouTube is telling me I'm not sending enough video. I think it's lying to me. Personally speaking, I think it's just straight up lying. Still lying, dude. What a weaselly little liar. Hey, Siran Gairish. What's up? Hello, Justin, Jordan, Tits of Brass, Bleep Bloop, Loco Coco, Totami. There's way too many people to catch names now. Best Civ YouTuber? Goddamn right. Hope you do a city state tier list too. I'm working on the Wonder tier list right now. Let's see. Loud and clear. See you in 2 hours or less. See you later, Aiden. I can see and hear just fine. Thanks for the video because the start spot is one of my problems. Yes, we're going to be going in depth. Can you increase the amount of video? I mean, it doesn't seem to be having issues for me. And what do you mean by increase the amount of video? Can't tell about lag. Audio is cool. Got it. Right. So, let us begin the journey. Open widget. Hold on. Okay, I got that message, YouTube. My stream health was poor 4 minutes ago. Why are you still telling me when I had a little bit of stream lag? I don't care. Go away with this alert. Okay, whatever. It's fine. So, what we're going to be doing, 420 viewers, nice. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be just taking questions and doing some start location research. I'm partially doing this to update the start location video that I did about 2 years ago, and I'm partially doing this so that people can have their questions answered. There will be time for questions, don't worry. What we're going to do is, let me go ahead and make sure, I was messing around with some mods, let me make sure they're turned off. I had the cheat map editor on, and the constant civilian unit cost on to play around with things, and we'll keep the secret text simple UI adjustments on. Right. This is not going... You just uploaded the Wonder tier list. That was the natural Wonder tier list. The Wonder tier list covers things that the players build, like the pyramids. Right. Play Bookworm Adventures? Not right now. Hey, Dieter. Don't know how to say your name. We're going to just start a game. We're going to create a game. We have 0 mods activated except for a UI mod. We're going to just... It doesn't matter what difficulty it is, so we'll just do... Like, we'll pick deity. We're not going to be playing more than 10 turns per start. Maybe 20, just to kind of give an idea of opening build orders and stuff like that, where we can talk about start locations and how... where we can start to talk about different things. So, I'm just going to play a random leader. I'm going to have everyone else be random. To start off with, we're going to do continents map because that's the ones that most players are probably going to start off playing on. And we're just going to keep rolling maps. PewDiePie should watch out. Potato is going to win. I don't know what I'm winning, but if I could beat PewDiePie, that would be great because he's a giant poo-poo head. That's right. I'm using his own insults against him. What part of New England? Because Connecticut barely counts. I should not read all chat messages. Spud
Now
McBeer.
begins your greatest
I actually
quest.
prefer whiskey.
From this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. In your people lies your greatest strength.
Hey, Eugene
From all over the world, others will come to gaze
Zolotsky.
upon the great wars
Eugene
and glittering
Zolotsky.
wonders of
I have no idea.
your
I'm sorry.
ancient
I'm
giant.
struggling to say your name. But thank you for the $5. Potato, thank you so much. You do the Lord's work. I don't know if playing video games is the Lord's work, but I will take the compliment.
Structures that the world will ever know.
Oh, it popped up.
Potato, thank you so much. You do the Lord's work.
Oh my... Hold on. This is gonna be my next YouTube series. Hold on. Oh yes, I was gonna play Rome, but I wasn't liking how that game went. China, turn 1 Torres. Oh my God. Okay. When's the next A to Z? It'll probably be in the next few days. So we got the boost for astrology, and I was like, what did I find? A new continent? And then I see Torres del Paine. So, in this situation, I want to kind of like give an idea of where people think you should settle. So I'm going to lay down some pins. It's going to be like a question and answer. It's kind of like playing Dora the Explorer. So like, here's our starting location. We can reasonably get to, let's say, in place. We'll call that A, and we'll give them names. So this would be place. Then this would be mountain. This will be Torres first. And this will be Torres second. We're going to play a little quiz game with chat about where you think I should settle.
Potatoes.
River far.
Mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
River close.
As a
I'm going to...
former teacher, I appreciate your style of explanation.
Thank you very much, patron. Thank you very much, Patrick Gordon. I really appreciate your $10 donation, and I'm glad you enjoy my style of teaching. Give me the map feed right now. It was map seed and game seed are on screen right now. 307109355 for the map seed. 307109354 for the game seed. I do not have a favorite Civ. Okay, I'm going to start asking questions. I want you all to have a think, right? Where do you think we should settle the city? I kind of made it kind of easy for you this time, in that I gave you a bunch of options, and some of them are like obviously worse than others. Okay, but I'm going to go through each and every individual option. So I'm going to give you guys a hint. The Torres is really good. That's your hint, okay? Torres is really, really good. That's your hint. So on the count of 10, I am going to say, I want you guys, you've already started voting. Oh God. You guys have already started voting. What is this? Hey, Stitch, how's it going, Stitch? I saw your name pop up because you're blue. Blue privilege. Joe Pasquini, thank you for the $5 super chat, Joe. How's it going? It's going pretty good, Joe. Thank you for asking. Okay, hold on. Stop voting! Stop voting! Okay, hold on. I'm going to give you guys... Right, Torres is really good. So this should make this obvious. When I count down from 10, I want you to all start voting where you think it should... Oh, I should straw poll it, actually. No, it's more fun to vote in chat. It's more fun to type in chat. So I'm going to go 10, 9, 5, blah, blah, blah. And you guys are going to pick one of these things to write. And remember, we're doing collective punishment today. So if I see you all vote for the wrong thing, even if some of you got it right, collectively as a chat, you got it wrong. Okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vote. I'm seeing a lot of people voting River Far, Torres first. Seeing lots of Torres ones. Oh my God, the chat just exploded. There's no reading this. Okay, it's off you mountains. Okay, you guys are in agreement, okay? And you guys have voted for Torres first. Did my doorbell just ring? Hold on, my doorbell just rang. I'm gonna leave you guys in suspense. Okay, someone else got the door. I'm right back. All right, boys. Somebody else got the door. Okay, I'm going to tell you some wrong answers first before I tell you the right answer. So this river far is bad, and we're going to talk about why this tile is individually bad. First of all, in order to get to river far, we have to give up a full turn of movement because we can't move here and settle. We can't move to this point and settle in the same turn. So that's one mark against it. River close is slightly better in that respect because we can move here and settle on the same turn. So this is slightly better in that respect. However, river far also is on the coast with crab. And that means ideally, when you settle a coastal city, you want to put a harbor beside your city because the harbor, right, gets you a trade route. But more importantly, the harbor, when it's adjacent to your city center, gets +2 adjacency. That adjacency feeds into mass production with shipyards that get bonus production equal to the adjacency bonus of the district. The really bad thing about this is you would have to crush this crab tile to get an anyway good harbor in this city, which is just terrible. So river far is probably the worst option you could have chose if you typed river far, and you should feel bad about yourself. River close? River close is actually even worse because at least river far lets you settle a second city on this river. Or river far lets you settle a second city on this river. River close does not. And not only that, but if you look at the tiles, right? I really want you to think about this. When you're settling a city, I want you to ask yourself, what the hell are the first 3 tiles I'm working when I settle my city? Like, if I settle here, what am I working? My best tile is a 1 food crab tile. So it's going to take me like 20 turns to grow a citizen. Or a cotton tile that has slightly better production. There's no good tiles within the first ring. So our very first worker in this city is screwed. It's just screwed. Like, terribly. So this is terrible. Over here, it's slightly better because we have a 1 food 3 production tile to work in here. However, 1 food 3 production tiles, even though they have 4 yields, they're kind of bad. And that's because they have 1 food. I want you to imagine every citizen in your city that is working a tile essentially adds -2 food to that tile. So if I'm working this wheat, the net gain that I get from the wheat tile is 1 production because this 2 food goes to feeding the worker working the tile. Far was the best option. Oh my god. So I want you to imagine that, right? So if I'm working this tile, this is a -1 food tile for 3 production. That means I'm growing really, really slowly. So I don't want to settle river close because I have no growth here. If I want to grow, I have to work a 0 yield tile. That's what I want. I want you to think about a 2 food tile as a 0 yield tile, a 1 food tile as a -1 food yield tile, and a obviously then anything you can kind of just apply a -2 to each tile. Is this an old video? No, Hugh. This is a reimagining of a video that I did before. But we're doing it as a live stream, so we can kind of interactively learn. In place is actually not a bad spot. But it is bad for a number of reasons. First of all, in place is bad because it blocks you from settling more cities on this river, and it doesn't have very good tiles to work in the area. So in place is good because you are on a plains hill, and you will get the +1 production in your city center when you settle on a plains hill. But do a face reveal? I've shown my face like a million times. Hold on. Although I did shave my head, so I look kind of fucking goofy. There you go. Look. Hi, chat. There you go. Do a face reveal. I've done them a million times. Hold on. So if we think about this tile, Shenado potato. Thick. Are we playing today or just learning? We're just learning. We're just doing some learning. We just learning him, kids. I don't know why I said it like that, like I'm a redneck. But in place is terrible. Well, not terrible. It's just not great. Right? It's not a great tile. Mountain is surprisingly slightly better, and it's because if I settled in place, I would get +1 production. However, moving to mountain here preserves this 1 food 3 production tile, and so the first 3 citizens of this city would be able to work better tiles, right? Because it's just more average yields. But mountain is also not very good. Now the real question is, do we settle on Torres II or Torres I? And I think there's an argument to be made for both of these settles. So the argument to be made for Torres II is that this wonder is just so incredible. If you settle on this tile, you'll get like a ridiculous amount of yields. And not only that, but if you settle on this tile, you will have 2 Torres tiles within your first ring. However, the downside is you will not have fresh water here and you will have a hard time growing your city. So settling on Torres first is a good compromise. Plus, settling on Torres second requires 2 turns to move over here. Whereas, sorry, like 2 turns to move and then on the hill and then settle. Whereas here, I only give up 1 turn to move closer. Also, another small tip that like a lot of people forget.
Great content.
Thank you so much, Rapara. I really appreciate that, dude. Okay, so we have a settler here. And why is this good? It's good because we have immediately a 2 food tile that gives us 4 production. I want you to imagine, why not on the warrior? Because on the warrior, so settling on the warrior takes the same amount of time to get to here, but it's not on fresh water. And fresh water is really valuable. And this city can reach almost all of the tiles around Torres anyway. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm only missing like 3 tiles out here, and I won't need them. Ideally, I would settle adjacent to the Torres, but right here is fine. The actual perfect spot to settle is like right there, because this tile gets all of them, but this isn't on fresh water, and it takes another turn to walk to. Just here, so I don't know if this was answered, but if they make a Civ 7, what would you like to see changed or improved? That's probably going to be its own individual video. I get asked that all the time, and I don't really have a good answer for you. But yeah. Sorry, an important tip is to always move your warrior before you move your settler, because the warrior can reveal like a little bit of extra terrain. In this particular instance, I'm not going to learn a whole lot from moving my warrior. Like maybe if I move him here, I'll learn about like a luxury or something over here, which is fine. What way should you explore with your warrior? You should try to explore away from the poles. And how you tell this is by where the jungle is in relation to your start. If the jungle is above your start, that means there is more land to the north. Because if you are below the jungle, that means you are to the south end of the map. And probably if I zoom out here and rotate the camera, we'll be able to see the edge of the map there. You can see, so that's the south edge of the map. And you can rotate the camera, by the way, by just holding down Alt on your keyboard and then left clicking, and you can kind of look around. So that's how you know. Whereas if I do the same thing, I can't see all the way up there. So you generally want to explore in the direction of more land and then use scouts to come back and fill in more tundra land, because there tends to be a lot of tribal villages down there and you want them to get experience. I remember the Albion Online vids a long time ago. Missed them. Yeah, that was a fun game. I didn't really play it for very long. So we're going to delete this pin and settle the city. Okay, so why is this tile so good? This tile is so good because it is a 2 food 4 production tile. Okay, if we're talking about like a baseline tile in Civ produces 2 yields, and that is either 1 food or 1 production, or 2 food, typically speaking. Like the plains and the grassland are your baseline. Tundra is slightly worse at 1 food, and desert is even worse than that at 0 of anything. And now it's important to remember that if we go in here and we look at our food yield, food consumption per turn -2. What that means is the price that we are paying for this tile to get this for production is 2 food, right? But because the citizen is bringing in 2 food as well, we're actually paying net 0. I'm probably going to miss a lot of names in chat. I think I saw Stitch said hi to Gabrielle, which is the other mod. Hi, Gabrielle. And a few other people. Like, there's so many people. It's hard to say hi to anyone except for, hey, Ian Donaghy, except for, like, people's names pop out. I'm trying to focus here, so I apologize if I don't say hello to everyone. This tile, right, if you imagine, it's a -2 food, it's a plus, this is a 0 food tile. That's what I want you to think about. Because in order to work this tile, you have to spend 2 food. This tile is a -1 food tile, because in order to work this tile, you are, you have to spend 2 food, right? So in actuality, if you like do the calculation, this tile has 0 net value. Like 0 net value. This tile has +1 value because it has 1, 2, 3 yields. You spend 2 yields to work the tile, you get 1 back in the form. You're basically converting 2 food, 1 food, like 1 negative food into 2 production is what you're doing when you work this tile. When you're working this tile, you're converting -1 food into 1 production. So you're losing a food for a production. Whereas this tile, you're just gaining 4 production as profit. What are your thoughts on the next DLC? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I don't know anything about it, and it's not really been announced anything yet. So this is actually a really, really powerful start. We could build a scout really quickly. And what you're going to want to do in almost like in 99.99999% of your games, you're going to want to just start with scouts. Now, in this particular situation, I'm playing as China. And China is a very strong tourism civ. And I have here a really, really good natural wonder, but I've actually been pretty lucky. Because this is just a 4 food tile, I actually don't care about it that much. Like, this is just about as good as a wheat tile. Like, if we really think about that, like a grassland wheat tile. I could put another farm on it to get 5 food, but you're kind of limited by growth anyway. So this could actually be a really, really powerful place to put a holy site. I know, you guys are going to be like, wait, what? You're going to be killing 4 food tile that could potentially be 5 or more food to place a holy site? Well, this is a +4 holy site. Like, we're trading 4 to 6 food for 4 faith per turn. But that 4 faith per turn in a religion game or a tourism game could be converted into 8 faith per turn using the scripture card. So that's how you have to start thinking about it. Like, this tile, if this was a hill, either plains or grassland, I would never do this. But because this is a flatland tile and getting food is actually pretty easy, I would actually consider, as part of my plan, to put a holy site there. And someone else brought up a really good point. Amy Bollenbach, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate it. Someone else, for how many faith do you need to buy a canal? I have no idea. You could also put a national park on that tile, Elisa. And that's another really good use of this if I decided... Oh, yeah. Amy Bollenbach, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. What was the general PSA? Sometimes I forget what I've said. Read some reviews of other people's save files and try to win the game. It seems like I stop this. What's the reason for it? I haven't been motivated to make the videos, really. The Civ disaster videos. It's something I do want to do again. It's something I plan to do. How does the Torres bonus impact a strategic... So Torres has 0 impact on anything other than the base tile yield. So the really easiest way to see this is that this grassland here has 4 food and 1 production. That 1 production is coming from the forest. If Torres affected things other than the base yield of the tile, this would be 4 food, 2 production. I appreciate you timing out Tromboner Stitch. Thank you. Matt Lubner, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Why not use that tile for a national park? So that's another valid use of it. However, kind of, looking around, I only have my other option is like a kind of okay, maybe +1 to 3 holy site. It's a +1 from the mountain, maybe a +2 if I put another district here. Maybe another +1 if I put another 2 districts here. Whereas like a +4 holy site is really, really powerful. Torres would be broke if it doubled it all. Yeah, true. What turn is ideal to get out the second city? The ideal turn to get out your second city is however long it takes you to build 2 scouts and a settler. That's the answer to that question, really, in like 99.99999% of your games. What if we could turn Torres into a ski resort? It should give double tourism then, I think, in my opinion. But for a culture game, you do not need that much faith, right? Actually, you do, because what are they called? Naturalists. Sorry, brain fart there. Naturalists cost 1,200 faith to purchase each, right? So you do want a lot of faith in a tourism game. And the same goes true for rock bands, who are integral to a tourism game in the late game to do it quickly, I in my opinion. And I think religion-based tourism games are just more fun. Please take your time and explain yourself. We're all here to listen to you. Lost my first game to an unexpected religious victory. Why did the old straight to archer strat get replaced with quick settlers? So that's still viable. It's still viable. It's just not the way that I enjoy playing, because I feel like it has a really high variance. For example, if I don't run into another Civ, and like they're not mutually exclusive either, right? Because by the time I unlock archery, I'll probably get 2 scouts and a settler anyway. How do you know what tile attributes will contribute to sites districts when placed on them? Lawrence, I need you to rephrase that question in a way that my brain can understand it. What game do you recommend with the Ottomans? Probably a domination game. But yeah, so this is where I would consider putting a holy site here. For example, if we're talking about just early game city planning, and you also want to think about, like, I'm playing China. Let's talk about China's bonuses. So this is like the time of the game to get to know your Civ and be like, what am I going to do? So when building ancient and classical wonders, you may spend builder charges to complete 15% of the original wonder cost. Builders receive an additional charge. Canals are unlocked with the masonry technology. Very interesting. Masonry. Wait. Excuse me? Canals are unlocked with the masonry technology. When was that put in? Is that a mod? I don't play online games. I don't remember that change. It's been a long time since I played China. But canals don't matter. Where did this come from? I'm curious now. Hold on. I don't remember that, but it was put in a Gathering Storm. Gotcha. So let's also talk about it. So that's your opening build order. Scout, Settler. It's 99.9% of your games. That's going to be a decent opener. Now, what to do with that is actually really, really important. Is that new? I think it was with Gathering Storm. I haven't played China in a long time, so I completely forgot this. Now, the other thing is, they also get Dynastic Circle. So we get 50% inspiration instead of 40%. So what this first Emperor ability tells me is that... it's the base game. Canals weren't in the base game. Is it mostly fluff? I mean, canals are pretty cheap. And like, it could open up some very interesting industrial zone positions with canals. Like, realistically. Because they're only 81 base production. Like, you compare that to an aqueduct, which is 36 base production. So they're about 3 times as expensive as an aqueduct. Maybe twice as or same price as a dam. Can you explain why you prioritize early scouts so highly? So we're gonna explain that, but we're gonna go through China's abilities. So this tells us here, this ability, that we're gonna want to utilize builders in order to build wonders. So now we have to, and it kind of sucks that I haven't put out the wonder tier list, because that would be really helpful in being able to pick what wonders are good in the early game. But like, as we're informing our decisions about what we might want to do this game, we might want to look through and be like, here's the Great Bath. Do I want to get the Great Bath? I don't know. Here's the hanging, like, just kind of take a moment to look through all of the wonders that you might want to get and how you want to get there. And then remember, you're also playing a tourism game. So you're, as China, you typically want to play tourism. I'm going to just play towards a Civ strength. You can play them in other ways, but I'm going to play towards a Civ strength. And so if I think about the pathway to drama and poetry, I'm going to want to build a wonder. and then I go back down the line, and I'm like, I'm going to want to get 6 population. I'm going to want to find a second continent. And not only that, but I'm also going to want to get political philosophy, which means I also need to build a district and improve 3 tiles. You don't have to do all of these things, but these are kind of things like, here's like a list of things that I could potentially achieve to reach my goal, which is to unlock theater squares. So some really, really good early wonders are, let's talk about, I'll just kind of point out a few really, really good ones. The Oracle is really, really good in certain situations. It doubles the amount of, sorry, not doubles, it gives you +2 great people points of their type, which is really, really powerful. You just get extra great people points. Each great person point, if we do the calculation, right, this great scientist would cost me 1,000 gold to purchase, okay? So if we take out our note, if we take out our calc, right, and we just do like quick math, all we got to do is 1,100 divided by 60. And so we can say, roughly speaking, one of these great people points is worth about 18, 19 gold for us if we wanted to click this button. Now, we don't always want to click that button, so 18 gold is probably undervaluing. I would maybe, or overvaluing it. I would maybe divide that by 3. So a single great person point, if you want to purchase someone, is maybe worth about 6 gold, right, to your empire, because you're not going to buy every great person. That's why I wonder, like, Oracle is so powerful, because if you imagine it, it basically triples the power, the economic power of your city. It's 15 times point plus 200. Yeah, but I know that, but I want to give like a more simplistic analysis. We could dig down into the numbers more clearly. That's why I say it's about 16 to 18 points or whatever the calculation is. Better off to give like just a general sense of things, and then if people want to learn deeper, they can. So if we think about the Oracle, all right, we're getting +2 great person points, right? Normally a district only gives you 1. Well, the theater square is a bad example, but if we go to the campus district, normally you get +1 great scientist point per turn, which if you build a campus in a city with the Oracle, you get triple that value, which means you're tripling the value that you, well, not necessarily the entire value, but a part of the value that you've invested into that wonder. And the secondary effect is that people are cheaper to purchase with faith. I would consider that the weaker end of the bonus. You're better off taking advantage of the great people points. I would better prioritize a new government before theater squares, or get theater squares first to start earning great people points before other civs. I would generally say that your government is probably the most important early game goal that you're ever going to have playing Civ. Like your first 100 turns are probably, well, probably more like your first 60 to 70 turns are all really about how fast can you get to this tech here, and how well can you take advantage of it. Like, really, that's what you're playing for. But China has some other bonuses too, right? They have the Crouching Tiger. I'm not going to go into depth on this unit. It's pretty crap, right? It's not worth talking about. But the Great Wall, on the other hand, is a builder ability. So you can kind of see, you always want to be looking for synergies in your Civ's abilities, right? If you have a bonus to builder charges and you have a unique improvement that gives you a resource that you can't normally get, and tourism is a resource that can be quite hard to get with builders, you should stand up and take notice, because that is very much so going to drive you in a direction of how you should be playing your Civ. So, for example, the Great Wall gives you gold, it gives you defense. The defense is pointless, honestly, in my opinion. But more importantly, it gets a bonus to gold if it's adjacent to other segments, and it gets additional culture and tourism as you advance through the technology tree. If you're ever not sure what all this means, just exit out of the screen, click on the question mark, and then type in the name of the thing that you want to learn more about. Great Wall? Great Wall. Don't worry about this text over here. What you want to do is you want to come down here to the right and click on and look at traits. You can see here, I get 100% of the tourism from culture, which requires flight. So that means it gets +2 culture from each adjacent Great Wall tile. So if I can make these all close together, I can get a ton of culture and tourism that I wouldn't ever otherwise get. Thank you for showing your expertise. As someone plays casually looking to improve my game, I really appreciate the insight. I actually really want to try a no theater square run as China. I think that could be really cool. If you abuse farms and Great Walls. I have 1,000 hours on Civ and I haven't achieved my true goal. I will build a Panama that can circumnavigate the gold, forever honoring our Canal King Lords. Do you own a deep fryer? I do not. One Stone Philosopher. Hey guys, I recently won my first Emperor game. Congratulations. Anyway, so that's going to point us in the direction of wanting to get a tourism game going, right? And then part of your learning process is like, okay, what do I need to win a tourism game? Well, generate tourism. So then you might go into the Civlopedia and be like, tourism. Oh, this doesn't make any sense. So like, is there like a button here? Concepts. Let's see. Where's tourism? Click tourism. Introduction to tourism. Oh, I can read about this. Tourism is needed in order to win a culture victory. Blah, blah, blah. Great works, wonders, holy cities, relics, artifacts, seaside resorts, and national parks. And then these are all things. I kind of wish I could click on these to go to the different Civlopedia pages. Listen, Civ developers, if you're listening, please make these clickable and then add a back button as well. Okay, please. And like you can actually like a brand new player who played slowly and carefully. Using the Civlopedia could play exactly the way I do, just from reading this and understanding it and figuring out what the things mean and how to get the information. It's crazy. That no theater square of China sounds interesting. The potato has acknowledged the greatness of the Great Canal. Potato sounds so blazed. I'm always blazed, my dude. But so I am not, by the way. Better Civlopedia mod does that. Well, there you go. And you can just go through this and figure things out and learn about the game, right? And then you can be like, okay. So I know I need like artifacts. Well, how do I get artifacts? Like type in artifacts. All right, artifact. Great works. Artifacts retrieved from antiquity sites by archaeologists. Where do archaeologists come from? Archaeologists are at a city's home museum. Required building, the archaeological museum. What does the archaeological museum need? Looks like it needs an amphitheater. Looks like the amphitheater needs a theater square. Looks like the theater square is unlocked at drama and poetry. Interesting. I wonder where drama and poetry is in the tech tree. And so this is how you want to go about the game and like figure out what your goal is, what direction your Civ is driving you, and then how to get that information, right? And then I can see, oh, here's the theater square, and then we work backwards from there again, and we're like, oh, we want 6 population, we want a special to this, we want 3 tiles, and you know, you're probably not going to do all of these things, but these are things you can do. Okay, so I feel like I talked a lot there, so we're just going to play. I'm going to play just a few turns of the game, and what I'm doing is I'm scouting to the north because I am to the south end of the map. There's a tribal village. I will try to pick that up. Here's a tip. Don't pick up tribal villages too early, right? I'm going to show this, if I can, with a save. Hold on. Let's see. I'll call this tribal pickup example. So there's a breakpoint, I believe, which is about 7 turns. There's Leventa. Really cool. I found Leventa. +2 faith in my capital. What does Leventa do? Okay. This is actually such an amazing example of something I wanted to talk about, that I'm so happy that it happened. But it is going to distract us from the tribal village thing, so let me handle that first. If I step onto this tribal village, I got an envoy, which is actually one of the most powerful things you can get from a tribal village, so I'm kind of mad about that. But I'm going to go back to the tribal village pickup example. Playing as Persia due to snowball for domination victory? Typically, yeah. I think I just got an alert there, but I did not catch who it was. Fawit has become a member. Thank you so much, Fawit. I really appreciate it.
To the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps.
Love your videos. Questions. How do you avoid early invasions? When do you decide to build military units? I decide to build military units when I feel like I'm going to die, and that's like a really difficult set of
In your people lies your greatest
really difficult set of things to have to like figure out or whatever. So those descriptions, they mention specialists. What are those? They aren't in the Civlopedia. Have you ever had a game seriously pivot from one victory type to another? Yes, I have. I had to switch from a tourism to a domination game out of just frustration one time. Potato, would you consider playing an overpowered seed as a chill game? Yes, well that's exactly what I plan to do with my next playthrough. Because I just found this safe. So I'm going to wait until turn 7, I think it is, that you want to do. Maybe turn 8. But the thing here, right? We have discovered Leventa, okay? And now I want you, like, when you discover a city-state in your game, I want you to actually just take a moment and just start asking 3 basic questions. The first question you ask is, was I the first person to meet this city-state? Okay? In this case, the answer is yes. What does that tell me? it tells me I can draw a line between myself and the city-state, and then a line of roughly the same length in all directions around the city-state, and say that there's a high probability that there isn't a player in this area. Because the AI will almost always meet city-states first, because they get a bajillion units when you're playing on D&D difficulty, right? They literally just get bajillions of units. It's ridiculous. You're not late. We've only just started, and we will only be just starting this game. So I'm going to hold this guy here. Normally, I would explore around with him. This is just purely for example's sake. The second question you want to answer is, what kind of city-state is this? Okay, this is a religious city-state. And that's going to kind of lead to its own questions, right? Does a religious city-state potentially fit into the game plan here? Well, I'm doing a tourism victory. If I'm doing a tourism victory, that's probably going to involve some form of rock bands and some form of national park. Those cost faith. So this religious city-state should actually potentially play into that game a lot, because they give me +2 faith from every shrine, as well as +2 faith from every temple. Now, I really want you to think about that. I really want you to think about that, because it's super important. Look at your shrine. Look at your shrine building. It gives you 2 faith. If I put two more envoys into this city-state, I literally double the value of my shrines. It's not quite double, because you have to kind of, think about the citizen slot and the great profit points per turn. But it's like, in terms of faith yield, I'm doubling the value of what I'm getting from my shrines, okay? If I put 2 extra envoys in here, my things are just so much better. Like, so it's ridiculous how much better they are. Are you not trying to guarantee you get a religion? Not this game. I'm not. Normally, yeah, I should probably be researching astrology. You're right. I got a little bit distracted. Made a mistake while I was trying to explain things. Okay, hit the bell. Hell yeah, hit the bell. All right. Listen, I want to see that like. Hold on. I'm gonna count down from 5, and I'm gonna count down from 5, and I want you all to hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button if you want to, because it shows me as them being essentially the same. I'm going to see how big we can make that number jump in like a single frame. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click the button. Oh my, it literally jumped 50 likes before I even said it. It literally jumped 50 likes before I even said it. Like oh my god, it went from like 200 to 400. It's at 700. Holy shit, dude. It's at 800 now. Oh my god. Okay, that was fun. Okay, that was really fun. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. It's still going. The third question you need to ask about your city-state. It has just skyrocketed. That's amazing. Oh man. The third question you need to ask is, it's kind of a 2-part question. Is like, does the city-state's suzerainty, it's at 900 now. Holy crap. Does the city-state's suzerainty bonus help me win the game? Or does it help me? Is it useful to me? What does it do for me? So if we look at Leventa's city-state bonus, it is the Colossal Head improvement. What do Colossal Heads do? They give me more faith. I need faith to buy naturalists and rock bands. Those sound like useful things. Each Colossal Head, by the way, is worth having a shrine, like in equivalent value. Not only that, but they get even more faith for every adjacent rainforest or forest once humanism discovered. And they get even more faith when you discover, they get even more once you get humanism from forests. And like in a tourism game, you're going to want to be using lots of builders. This is actually, holy shit, this is like the fucking god tier Civ 6 China start. I'm sorry to swear, but holy crap. Like, this is legitimately probably the most insane start I've ever seen in my life. I'm playing China, and I found Leventa as my first city-state. China has 1 million builder charges, and this allows me to turn my builder charges into infinite faith. Like, this is just holy. Like, once I get conservation, I just auto-win the game. Conservation is the civic over here that allows you to plant woods. If I plant woods beside my Colossal Heads, I just get all the tourism ever. So those are the 3 questions you want to say. What kind of city-state is it? And can it be useful to me? Was I the first to meet it? And therefore, are there other players nearby? And third, what is the suzerain bonus? And is it worth me investing into them? The other thing is, if you put 6 in, it also gives you an extra 2 value on your temple, which is like a 50% increase in the value of this temple. And also, ooh, super important. I don't know if they've changed this because I haven't actually played around with it for a little bit. But I'm pretty sure this, if I remember correctly, this simultaneum card, it doubles the bonus that city states give. So if I have a shrine that has +2 and then is +2 base and then +2 from the Venta, I'm like 99% sure this card doubles that to 8. I haven't checked that in a bit. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it used to work. Anyone else here because of the Spiffing Brit? Holy crap. It's wait, what, from the Spiffing Brit video? Yeah, like, I wish I was as good at YouTube as him. He's so good. Oh, the map seed. I've already revealed the map seed here. I'll take a screenshot and I'll post it in my Discord. Here, hold on. Oh, shoot. I messed it up. Default settings, no mods, the god start. Oh, I didn't mean to edit it. Let me pin that. There, I pinned it to my Discord. There's a link to the Discord in the description of the YouTube stream if you want to go there. Ben Flounders, thank you so much.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Add to the video description. I came here to the Spiffing Brit. You are as good as him finding exploits like the multi-district one. Well, actually, typically, I want to be very clear. I'm not usually the one who finds them. It's typically other people in the community who kind of like, hey, did you hear about this exploit? And then I kind of play around with them a bit and kind of figure them out. And then I'll send it on to other YouTubers like Marbazir and the Spiffing Brit. And honestly, it's kind of for a selfish reason. It's because I really want to see Spiffing Brit play more Civ. Like, I just love I love watching his Civ videos. So I'm like, when I find an exploit, I'm like, oh yes, just like rubbing my hands together, like I can make him play Civ again. Nice to see your stream. I learned and get this game because of your awesome videos. Thank you so much, Jan. So I'll wait just a couple of turns. So there's a moderate flood. That doesn't really matter. First scout comes out. I'm still holding on just for like an illustration. I really hope this doesn't make a liar of me. I'm going to be pretty upset that I stood still here for a very long time. And so I know I haven't been scouting with this warrior for the purpose of showing off how tribal villages work a little bit, but okay, thank you for saying that. That's so awesome. There's nowhere near enough information in your question to answer that. I noticed that in your games you buy a lot of tiles, however, you never have the card that reduces the cost of purchasing tiles plugged in. Thoughts? Because I tend to buy tiles over a very long period of time instead of all at once, I feel like that other cards give more value than switching in the purchasing tile card, because I would have to have it in all the time. If I had +1 economic policy slot, I would probably have it in all the time. Isn't the city-state quest important? No, not really. Like, typically I would look at this and be like, can I do it easily? Yeah or no? Okay, yeah, it can be important. That probably should have been a point they should have covered. Always look for city-state quests that can be easily finished. Like sending a trade route, that's like so easy. I literally research, I literally just have to research foreign trade and build a trader, and I've done that mission. It's like the easiest mission ever. But if it's like build a holy site and you don't plan to build a holy site, don't worry about it. So I know I haven't explored with this warrior, but typically what you want to do is you want to explore in the opposite direction of your warrior and then do a loop. For the love of God, I hate barbs. Let's wait one more turn at this warrior. Talked about his stream this morning as his favorite Irish YouTuber. Oh, awesome. I saw him put a... I saw his last... I didn't know... Wait, Spiff streamed? When did Spiff stream? Twitch.tv Spiffing Brit. God damn, I'm getting shout-outs left and right here. Thank you so much, Spiff. I typed in Spiffing Brit, and I found a guy called Shifting Bits. Oh my god. Spiffing Brit Twitch.
Potatoes.
Did he stream this morning?
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I got copy striked by Yogs. He streamed EU4. No way. Spiffing Brit is for my dessert. Potato McWhiskey is my main course for Civ 6. It was on YouTube. Oh, it was on YouTube. No way. Oh, I'm curious now. I want to see. What he was playing EU4? I might watch that later. Oh my god. He did. I'm going to watch that stream later. He only just finished like an hour ago. God damn. I timed this well. I didn't even realize. I had no idea. He made a video yesterday. Can you make a soda bread now that normal flour isn't available in shops? No idea. What was I saying? Brain. Reactivate. Oh, right. It's turn 8. And typically turn 8 is the threshold for when you get better rewards. I actually think the scout was a worse reward there. But typically, there's like a piece of code somewhere in the game that says after turn 7, give better rewards for tribal villages. I don't know how better to explain that other than like it be the way that it do. Also, I missed some Ben Flounders. I think I thanked you. Thank you so much, Ben Flounders. Then the Tishwek. Thank you. I know how to say your name. All right, Bot Plays Games. Goodbye. Instaban. No spamming in chat, please. Potato's channel just turns into a Spiffing Brit fan account. I mean, I'm okay with this. Although I do hate the Brits on an emotional level. All right, so I always want to hit scouts purely just because, like, if they're dumb enough and they accidentally run into your warrior again, you should be able to get a kill, especially once you have discipline. It do be like that. Do you think you would trade an envoy? You would trade an envoy for a scout? I wouldn't. It was just trying to illustrate an example that, like, the rewards you get from the tribal village is different after turn 7. I don't know why, it just is. It just be the way that it do. And if you really want to get save scummy with tribal villages, I think you can like reload every other turn or something and keep trying. In future DLC or games, would you like to see more religions, more dynamic? Yeah, I think I'd be happy with any changes to the game, honestly. The Civilization 6 developers have my total faith in making the game better. Thank you, Yaroslav Nechev, for the membership, by the way. I really appreciate that. See here? Oh my god, I'm getting so many.
Hi, Potato. I love your content.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. I really, really appreciate that. I never had this on my lap on stream. Have you seen the new exploit? I have seen the new... which one is that, Aryan? Is it the one that Spiffing did? Because I was the one who told him about it. Just joined. That's a hell of a wonder start. It is a hell of a wonder start. I won't be finishing this game. And so generally, you just want to explore in a pattern. Had I gotten that scout a little bit earlier, I would not have finished this scout. But since I'd already kind of went in... Oh, man. Sucratact has been updating this UI here. I love it. I saw him post some hints of this on Twitter. So if I like... Oh, man. That's so helpful. I don't have to actually click on my cities to see what they're doing. So typically, you want to build 2 scouts and then go for a settler. That's going to be like 99% of your games. That's what you want to do. And then once your settlers or once your scouts are out, you want to bring your warrior back to defend your settler. So talking about here, this is really, really important. Your first 50 gold should always be used to ask the question, can I buy a better tile? And in this case, right, if we look at the city's growth, I can hover over this because I have a mod installed that lets me see where my next city tile is growing to. But typically, you would have to go into the city screen on a turn where the city hasn't grown yet. But I can see here the city is most likely going to grow to here. I'm kind of annoyed that it grew to the actual Torres, because I would have saved 50 gold if I had done this. But I can spend, okay, let's do the calculation. Have you ever been to Cleveland? I don't recommend it. It doesn't sound great, to be honest. Remember the Diplo victory when you kept banning people? Yeah, I remember that. That was fun. Why would the city expand to the wonder and not a workable tile? It's semi-random. Like, that's the thing. It's semi-random. Mandalore the Ultimate, thank you so much for $2. Let me smash. You got to pay more than that, buddy, if that's what you want. So let's have a quick just peek around at our possible options. We could work a 2 food, 1 production tile or a 1 food, 2 production tile. Those are our best options.
Let me smash.
No. There's kind of 2 directions we can go here. We could either go for the... We want a tile with four... We want the tile with the most yields, right? Because, again, think about it. Every time we work a tile, we're trading this much food. We're trading 2 food for whatever the tile gets. So this tile is worth +1 food to me. This tile is worth +1 production. Sorry, it's worth +1 production. This tile is worth +1 production, -1 food. Sorry, plus 2 production, minus 1 food. So the total net value of this tile is 1. The total net value of this tile is 1. The total net value of this tile is 4 because it has, is 2 because you always take 2 yields away to calculate that. And the total net tile of net yield of this tile is 4 production, in fact. So this tile is actually, like, I really want you guys to get this into your head. If I compare this tile and this tile, these two tiles, this tile is 4 times better. Really think about that, right? Every time you work a tile, it takes 2 food to work the tile because each citizen in your city eats 2 food. So that means I take away this 2 food and I'm left with 4 production. I do the same calculation over here and I'm left with 1 production. That means this tile produces 4 times as much as this tile and twice as much as this tile. So this tile is just so ridiculously good that to purchase anything else would be a mistake. Make sense? I'm trying to be hyperbolic. Also, really, is now the time to start barking, dogs? Call the animal control warden or whatever. I usually push for a monument right after training my first scout. Is that a better approach than rushing 2 scouts first? I would say generally it is worse. Early monuments can be really, really powerful, but I would generally recommend getting your first settler out before you go for a monument. And so this is a really important concept in killing enemy barbarian scouts is you want to try to get a unit on each side of him, preferably. So what I did there is I put a unit here and I put a unit there. So he had nowhere to run to get away from me, right? Because if he moves to here, I move my warrior to here, and then he runs here or here. He moves to here, I move my warrior here, and now he can only escape to these 2 tiles. And so I get to attack him with one of my units. No matter where he goes, one of my units can attack him. And then I box him in again, and no matter where he goes the next turn, he's going to get killed by either of my units. So this is really a really important strategy to learn, how to box enemy scouts in. There's a little bit of luck involved in it, but if you can pull it off, that's also partially why we pick up so many scouts, is so that we can chase off barbarian scouts. Because typically what barbarian scouts will do, in particular when you have the discipline policy, is they will run away in a straight direction away from your units. So like if I'm standing here and the barb scout is here, he'll just run as far away this direction as he can go. And so in that way you can kind of herd enemy scouts away and away from your cities. Vlad Z, thank you for the $3 donation. And After Hours 404, thank you so much for becoming a member of the chat. Anamori Horvat also became a member of the channel. I missed that one. Thank you so much, Anamari. It's kind of hard to keep track of all of these things. Hello, my world, I'm owning. I love your videos, but can I ask you one question? How many cities do you want to have maximum, or isn't there anyone? There's generally not a maximum number of cities. I would say 4 to 6 is like a good number in most games to win a game with, because you can do a lot with 4 to 6 cities, and I would say anything more than that is usually good too. I was lucky to have an island and a city-state. I've learned off the best potato to rotate. Have you ever considered getting Super Tax Resources mod? It's very cool. I enjoy it. So the reason why I don't like to use a lot of mods is because a lot of my viewers are actually watching me on console. By the way, 1K likes. Holy crap, we literally quintupled our likes. So I asked people to like the video earlier, just to like see how high we could get it, like how quickly we could go from one number to another, and it literally went from like 200 to 900 in the span of about 40 seconds. I disable barbs in a lot of my games. Oh, so the point I was saying is a lot of my viewers play on console. They can't use mods, so I want to be my videos to be able to apply to them. That's also why I have my UI so huge, because like if I go in here and I set my UI to like the normal scale, there's a way to do this. Oh no, I had to do this. I actually had to edit my. I think I had to edit my. I think I had to edit my. My actual game things. Yeah, I think I had to edit my game files to get the UI this big. But like typically, just imagine this was all a quarter of its size. That was what it was normally like. I made my UI really big so people on mobile phones could watch my videos more easily. I made, and so that's why I don't play with mods, typically. You haven't settled enough until the game starts using the Civ city's name for your cities. No lighty, no likey. Settler build time eventually becomes really prohibitive too. Yes, that's important, which is why you want to kind of settle in bursts. You want to settle a few cities, then build up your capital a little bit, and then settle another few cities, build up your capital a little bit, and then settle another few cities. It's kind of like you always want to be spending about 6 to 10 turns on building a settler. Once you get over, say 10, 12 turns, that kind of a range, you want to start maybe thinking about improving your capital with a builder. What about the wait for 75 and get 4 food, 1 tile on the other side of the wonder? This tile has 5 yields. This tile has 6. Food is, so I will say this, food in the first 20 turns is about twice as valuable as production, but because it kind of goes down in value as you start to reach your housing limit, I'm not too worried about it. Do you have a list of all the mods I use? I have one mod that I use, and it is my favorite mod. It is Sucretact's Simple UI Adjustments. It's the only mod I allow myself to use because, and all it does is when you hover over a city, it's as if you clicked on it, right? That's really the only thing I use it for. When I hover over a city, it's like I clicked on it, right? I can see all the tiles the city's working. That's really all I use the mod for. It has a few other changes and stuff like that. Also, I'm missing so many people. After Hours 404, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Hello, Arlo, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel as well. Anna-Mari Horvat, also thank you so much. I love your content. Glad to catch you online. Thank you so much, Sticky Duck. Who was the other guy? $20 from Josh Martin. Thank you for the entertainment. Love your videos and streams. Thank you so much, Josh Martin. I really appreciate it. Hobo Hunter 1001. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate it.
Potatoes.
Do you like to pump up a lot of settlers from the capital of the second city? Producing a lot of settlers seems to cripple my capital compared to my other cities. What is the name of this mod? The name of this mod is Sucretact's Simple UI Adjustments. That's the only UI mod that I use. Does that mod work with multiplayer if other players don't have it? I do not know. I'm getting so... It's actually hard to manage here.
Thank you for the entertainment. Love your videos and streams.
Thank you very much. Could you at one point do a series with lots of modded saves? Again, I'm going to try to avoid using mods purely for my mobile and console viewers. I'm getting the hiccups right now. Love your content. I've learned so much from your video, and now I'm getting more confident on deity. Awesome two-shot, Tino. So like I said, I trapped this scout in with my warrior and my scout, and now I can kill him. And now I have a bit of time to get down here to take out this, although I don't know if that was the scout that came from there. So really what you're looking to do is to gather as much map information as possible with 2 primary goals. Your first goal, well, is that 2? Well, there's actually kind of a lot of goals. Probably the first most important goal you're looking for is other players. You're trying to find how close am I to the nearest enemy player. And the reason why we want to find that out is because we're asking the question is like, how greedy can I be? The closer you are to another player, the less greedy you can be because the easier it is for them to punish you. So like, if you're really close to a guy, you got to build units just to defend yourself. If you're really far away from a guy, you can wait like a little while to build those units because you can get other stuff first because he's just further away. It's going to take him longer to get to you. The other thing you're looking for is barb camps. You're looking for barb camps that you might be able to clear. You're also trying to reveal terrain so that if any new barb camps appear, that you can deal with them in an appropriate amount of time. And you're also, I would argue, is maybe one of the primary things you're looking for is you're looking for somewhere to settle your cities. And this is kind of more advanced, but you're also going to be looking at your terrain and making a decision about what your overall game plan is and how you're going to be organizing your economy. So right now, my impression here, for example, here's an example of how I'm using like the map knowledge to influence how I'm going to play. Barb clamps, keep those suckers in place. So here's how I'm going to use like map knowledge to influence how I'm going to play. Is I have a ton of coastal tiles, right? And I plan to play a tourism game. So obviously seaside resorts are going to figure into my game somewhere, right? I have a ton of flatland coastal tiles. So I might actually want to settle just a few high value cities on the coast to gather up as much of this coast tile for future endeavors. So that's one way that can like inform my decision making. And since I want to settle coastal tiles for the seaside resorts, that means I'm going to want to be building harbors. So now I can start to like think, oh, well, you know, I have a ton of coastline, so I want to settle coastal cities. I want to take advantage of seaside resorts because I'm doing a tourism game.
I haven't been able to get religious settlements pantheon lately. Anyone else? They do not get used up from previous founded pantheons, correct?
Each pantheon can only be taken once by one player. Any good advice you missed, Alex? You just have to rewind the VOD. Sorry, Alex. Makes sense. That pantheon is OP. When will you build a harbor? Typically, if I'm settling a coastal city and my economy is going to be heavily coastal based and I have a ton of coastal resources, I'm going to try to make that the first thing that I would build. So there's a bit of an open question about where exactly I would settle the city. It's kind of really a question of how close can I settle to Leventa to get as much of this flatland coast as I can, right? And then I'm going to be kind of, what you want to try to identify is which of the cities you're planning to settle is the most important and where the good harbors are. So if I look around, there's like, I just kind of keep in mind, there's like an okay harbor here, there's a really good harbor here, there's an okay harbor here, there's an okay harbor here, there's a harbor here that I haven't quite identified, but it will be at least an okay harbor because it's beside a city center, which will give it at least +2. Can you go over Rushdie when to chop and when not to chop a tile? Ooh, well, that's a whole discussion in of itself. But like, let's say I take the city center where I plan to put one, and I go 1, 2, 3. I cannot place a city any closer than this line. Okay, if we imagine this line here, now that means I'm going to want to settle on this silk, which is going to inform me about where I'm going to put this city, which I want to settle first because it has 2 crabs, which means I can't settle 1, 2, 3. You basically draw a line that's roughly 6 tiles long. I think it is it, or 4 tiles long? 4 tiles long from this cotton down to here. I cannot settle a city. It has to be here if I want to settle coastally beside this really good harbor. This is kind of how you can use like the map flow information to make decisions about where you want to settle. And so, for example, in here, I could maybe decide to go for the mausoleum. As well, and then that's another sort of advanced sort of thing, but maybe I want to put the mausoleum here instead, because this is a really good seaside resort, so I'm thinking kind of ahead in a way. This city doesn't have very good production, but if I settle it early, I can get it up and going, and maybe get some lumber mills going here, blah 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 blah. Then also with coastal, I know there's some reef around here. I wish it showed it a little bit better in the fog. Yeah, there's some reef around. Oh no, that's a reef tile. Okay, so that kills that. That sucks. That's a reef right there, and you can't put districts on a reef. Damn. If you're wondering what I did, I clicked on the 4th button here called map search, and I typed in reef, and even though I can't technically see the reef, it does have 2 food, 1 production, but like it can be kind of hard to see. It just kind of lights it up for you and makes it obvious. So maybe I would put like a campus here beside the reef if I wanted to, maybe 1 or 2 campuses. You can make those kind of decisions. So now I'm thinking that this city isn't actually that important for me to settle. And I can kind of also draw conclusions here from these 3 cities. They actually block me from settling any cities in between them and my capital. These 3 cities do. Okay, so I have astrology. So this is what I call the potatoes religion gambit. It's where you go scout, settler, holy site. It's like literally the greediest build in the game because you build 0 military. And it's a really fun build. You go scout, settler, holy site, religion. It guarantees you a religion on deity 99% of the time. However, if an enemy player spawns within 10 tiles of you and you do this without scouting him, you are dead like 100% of the time. So there's +1 envoy. I could put that in Leventa. Oh, here. Good opportunity to talk about envoys a little bit. Don't bot like I was gonna try to make an example. Like, listen, guys, if you get paid like $500 for your wages, you don't spend that all at once, do you? You want to hold on to some of that money. But I know, like, if you're like me, it's like, oh man, 500 euro, I'm rich, and then like 2 days later, I'm broke. but seriously, think about this, right? This is like money in your pocket that you don't have to spend right now. Let's say I put this into Leventa. What do I get? I get nothing, right? I get +1 envoy in Leventa. Who cares? It doesn't get me. It doesn't unlock me a bonus. And even if I unlock the bonus, I don't even have any shrines built. So I may as well just not spend this envoy. One of the biggest mistakes, well, not the biggest, but one of the hardest habits to break for new players is spending resources as soon as they get them. So like they'll get a governor title and be like, yeah, I'm going to get this right now. Even if like spending it doesn't really do anything interesting for them or really improve their empire, they'll spend it. And then later on, they'll be like, oh God, I wish I had that governor title to do something else with it. Whereas if they just waited a few turns, maybe they would have thought of that. So you want to always try to spend them in the best way. So should I get Rise and Fall? I honestly, I'm a shill for Civ. I think the expansions are great and worth getting. Like, I have no problem with that. New government. Let's talk about these. You might be thinking here in this game, wow, this guy has 3 scouts. Survey would be really, really good. No. Ankle biter on the
You
loose.
should give our lessons on Civ one-on-one. How do we set that up? Name your price.
So, here's my thoughts. Thank you for the $5 at Rockstar, and also thank you for the €10 Hup deal. Thank you so much. And also, I think someone gave me 20 earlier. That was Josh Martin. I just want to make sure I thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. So my problem with one-on-one lessons is that I feel like I can more effectively teach a greater number of people to do the thing, in this kind of an environment, right? Where I make a guide video, where I talk about game concepts, and then just let them kind of play the game out and enjoy it. And then also just foster an environment of playing casual multiplayer games. That's kind of like, that's how I'm thinking about what the most effective way to teach people how to play the game better is what I'm thinking about that. Okay, but let's talk about our government here. I know I get caught up on tangents. You guys are just dragging me all over the place. It's 100% my own fault. But listen, we'll put that to the side. So if we talk about discipline here, really this is the only card that exists in the early game. The only time you would plug in survey is if you're playing the Cree, or as Germany. Yeah, if you're playing Germany and you're attacking a city-state to level up your scouts, then I would plug in survey. Otherwise, discipline, 100% of the time. What should my game plan be in marathons above King difficulty? I don't play marathon level games because I feel like it changes the balance of the game in the wrong direction for the way that I like to play. And have fun, yeah. What are the A to Z challenge? Where are the A to Z challenges? I haven't gotten around to making one for a while. It's coming, I promise. There you go. You got a promise out of me. So typically what I would recommend for players is plug God King in if you don't have faith early, or a way to get faith early to get your Pantheon. Otherwise, just plug in urban planning. Like, if you want a Pantheon, plug in God King, get your Pantheon. Most of the time, urban planning is the better one, though. As Germany, you can plug in 2 military cards. Oh, William Clemson, thank you so much for the DK45. I don't know what those are. Danish kroners? Could you do a video on managing and using governors to the best of their abilities? Yes, I could. I think I did a video on that. I will do another one, promise. Would you not play Age of Wonders Planetfall again? I love Age of Wonders Planetfall and I really want to play it, just nobody wants to watch it. It's like the problem. I love this game, I want to play it. Nobody's watching it. Xenon Marty, let's take it easy there, bud. Is this a guide on start locations? Kind of, yes. We've talked a lot. It's going to be worth watching this over and over. My plan is to basically kind of get all my knowledge into a kind of one place, and then I'm going to try to take all of that and condense it down into a single half-hour video, like the Uber guide to settling your cities. I'm playing it right now. I'd say DD with God King, 35% of the time I get free settler. Yes, that's exactly why. That free settler is game-changing on deity, so I feel like I take it. In terms of what your next one is going to be, really, it's going to sound really dumb, but you're not actually choosing between these two things. You're actually choosing between early empire and political philosophy. And the reason you're choosing between state workforce and early empire. And the reason why I say that is because the question is, are you going to be getting a government plaza in order to get the ancestral hall to build your settlers, or are you just going to go naked settlers? Are you just going to go straight for settlers, straight for early empire and get as many settlers out? Because it's not a choice between craftsmanship and foreign trade. It's a choice between state workforce and early empire. And if it's early empire is the choice you make, then you click on that and you close the screen and you never look back until you have that. And then you want to immediately plug in the colonization card and build nothing but settlers everywhere that you can. extremely risky. Extremely risky. The much safer way to play, don't do what I do, kids, okay? Don't do as I do. That's what I do sometimes. I find the more safer play is to get your government plaza up, head down here, maybe get a builder, grab yourself a builder at some point in this whole shenanigans, or don't, you can skip it. Grab yourself a builder in this whole shenanigans, get the government plaza, get the ancestral hall, then get to autocracy and build a bunch of settlers. It's kind of like the midterm goal. But we got our Pantheon. Let's talk about Pantheons. I'll just do a quick Pantheon thing here. So if you have the religious settlement Pantheon, like 95% of the time, it's a mistake not to pick it. The only time you should not pick it is if you're playing a Civ that has a specific bias to a type of terrain that takes a huge amount of advantage of these holy site adjacencies, for example, like Russia getting Tundra, or Mansa Musa doing the desert ones. The other one is, if the religious settlements one isn't there, another really good one to pick up is God of Craftsmen. Typically everyone gets a copy of Horses and Iron, so this is just going to provide you with a bit of culture, a bit of faith and production throughout the game. Another amazing one to pick up if you have pastures is Goddess of Festivals. Then these other ones are all kind of just really situational, so I'm not going to go in too depth here, but generally those are kind of like the first ones that jump out to me. In this particular game, if I'm looking at this situation, right, I plan to settle coastally, so definitely God of the Sea is on my mind. In particular, God of the Sea is on my mind because I have a fairly low production empire as it stands, right? I have a lot of flatland plains tiles. Now they're plains, so they do have that +1 production, which isn't bad when I get some farms going. But I really want that God of the Sea, I'm thinking, here in this game. So that's kind of like my first impression. If I look down through the list, I don't have a lot of camps. I don't have a lot of quarries. I don't see a lot of bonus or luxury resources. I don't see a lot of plantations. I mean, I guess there's like 1, 2, 3. I'm going to settle that one for... Yeah, I mean, I guess plantations could be okay. 5. Plantations could be a good one for a little bit of culture. Another good one is River Goddess. If you're in a non-coastal game but lots of rivers, you can go holy sites and commercial hubs on rivers. Divine Spark is another great wonder to have pretty much in all games. And this kind of feels like a Divine Spark game to me. Although, here's where your strategies can kind of feed each other. If I take the builder, I can improve 3 tiles. If I improve 3 tiles, I get craftsmanship faster. So it's really a question of, am I sacrificing a long-term benefit for a short-term gain, and can I turn that into something else in terms of gain? Will there be another DLC? A lot of people think there will. I don't have that information confirmed, and if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I can tell you that I don't. Are you on Twitch TV anymore? No, I don't stream on Twitch anymore. I find my audience is just on YouTube, and they like watching me on YouTube, so this is where I show up. They removed a Pantheon that was too good. What was it? That was the Goddess of the Harvest Pantheon. So let's go ahead and grab... So normally I wouldn't take fertility rights, but the city growth rate is actually not terrible. And a free builder here kind of suits me in this game. Had I been thinking about this builder decision in advance, I would have gone for mining earlier and then planted down 2 mines here. So this builder is not going to do a whole lot early for me. What he can do is just kind of sit around for now. I'm not going to get much value out of him right away, but I will sort of short, long term get a lot of value. And this is probably also a really good time of the game to also plan out where you might want to place your wonders and districts. Like, for example, if I'm going to go for pyramids, I don't have any desert, do I? No, I don't have any desert. So I can't choose to go for the pyramids. Let's talk about early wonders. Great Bath is okay. Hanging Gardens is okay. Temple of Artemis is great. I really like that one. I don't have a deer tile in range. Let's see. Stonehenge. Skipping Stonehenge. No Petra. Colossus is kind of just an expensive harbor, really, if you think about it. There's actually not a lot of early game thingies. I'm kind of tempted to do the Apadana Great Library. And what's that other one? Shoot. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to do the Apadana Great Library play here. And I want to talk about this place specifically. And it kind of relies on a few different things. So the Apadana gives you +2 envoys when you build a wonder, including Apadana in the city. But it also has +2 great work slots. The Great Library also has 2 great works of writing slots. And so what you're going to do with the Apadana Great Library play is basically try to get 6 great works of writing into a single city, and then also place Pingala in that city, Pingala, with the curator promotion to get as much tourism as early into the game as possible. So that would be kind of like the direction I would maybe consider going this game. Ilango Sub-Romanian, thank you so much for streaming on YouTube. I appreciate you. Colosseum is definitely an option in this game. I feel like Colosseum is always an option, and you basically just want to place it somewhere in the middle of a few cities. So in this particular game, I would probably 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I would probably place my Colosseum like here. I would do entertainment complex into Colosseum, and then I would put like theater squares all around it to take advantage of its delicious adjacencies, like so. I would do something like this. Each of these cities can reach one of these theater square locations. That would be something I would consider doing this game. I would want to do... so if I'm going to do Apadana this game... Apadana, where is it? Sorry, excuse me. It must be adjacent to your capital. So I would maybe plug it in here. Oh, shoot. Can it actually go on flatland? That's an open question. Let me double check that. It's always really important to double check that your wonders can go on hills or flatland. So it just has to be adjacent to my capital so it can go on that hill. And then I would put my capital's theater square like here, right? And that would be a whole bunch of theater squares and stuff, and I'm able to generate a stupid amount of great works this game. Is the Great Wall worth it? Yes, and yes. Sometimes and sometimes not. Love your explanations, but your help I managed to jump from king to deity difficulty with ease. Dude, can somebody tell me if it's better to get a +3 harbor that in near future is going to be adjacent to another district, or have a +4 harbor? +4 harbor. Because the +3 harbor is going to become a +4 harbor. Pyramids coupled with serfdom, China bosses super duper builders. What would your solution to fix the lackluster Tall plays in Civ 6? I actually think Tall is in a pretty good place in Civ right now. I think it's actually pretty good. What difficulty is this? Is deity difficulty, but the difficulty doesn't really matter because we're only talking about like the first 20 turns of how to plan your empire as well. So this is kind of what I would do. I would kind of identify areas, and then since I also want to build the Great Library, I would maybe do this. But now what I'm thinking is, because I want to build all these wonders, maybe I want to get settlers early. I don't know, like it's hard to make these decisions, right? But maybe I want to get lots of settlers early so that I can actually have time to build these wonders. It's kind of a way you can look at things. I'm going to attack here. I'm also going to attack with my scout. This might seem really dumb, but he can't attack back and kill me as far as I'm aware. A lot of his combat strength is coming from being fortified, so he can't actually kill my scout. And it'll let me kill it slightly faster. What's just curious, because dealing with going for wonders with China seems like a bad fit. Oh, well, China can build wonders really, really easily by getting builders spammed towards it. So I'm not worried about that. So the other wonder that I really, really want is the Great Library, right? The reason I want the Great Library is because it has +2 great works of writing slots. And so it needs to be on flat land adjacent to a campus. So the best place for a campus in this city is either here, which is +1, or here, which is +1 but has a higher potential. So I would maybe put this campus right here. And then where I put the Great Library, well, it has to be on flat land adjacent, so it's going here or here. And the question is, I might do like an aqueduct here and an industrial zone here. So probably the Great Library is going to go there, right? It's going to go slightly there. So that's kind of like how I would plan my empire. Now I also need to plan some more cities. I think I have enough information down here. 1, 2, 3. So I could settle on either of these two tiles. 1, 2, 3. So I think I would settle there. 1, 2. There. 1, 2, 3. That would block the marble settle. I would actually want to know more before I make the decision about where to settle here. You can go stand on that tile. Keep exploring another tribal village. Beautiful. Have they done anything for Tall? Yeah, there's been a lot of buffs for Tall, I feel like. There's Nazca. I was not the first to reach Nazca. Okay, so this is really important. Remember earlier where I drew a line from my capital to Leventa? and then kind of like took a line of the same size and then did like, imagine a radar sweep of like this area of the map, right? Because if you imagine it's roughly this far away from my capital to Leventa, so if I take that same distance and then kind of go radially, I know there's not a civ in this area because I met Leventa first. If an AI is in the game, they're going to meet city-states. If they're close to a city-state, they're going to meet them before you, like 99.9% of the time. Whereas this line here from my capital to Nazca, I know there's definitely an AI somewhere in this area because I was not the first to meet them. It's pretty simple. It's not a perfect logical assumption, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. I wonder if one of the cities will be called Milan. Oh, God. They definitely will. Is chopping still worthwhile because I find lumber mills very good? They can be, absolutely. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Okay, this scout spawning kind of bothers me. Major defeat. Man, where do I want to settle this guy first? I can't go near this barb camp. Not without the scout escort. And I would like to settle on top of the silk. So because this harbor isn't so good, I don't care about getting this city online as fast. I would much rather get this harbor online first. Purely because this is going to be letting me settle on a silk. Settling on a silk has a big advantage because I can sell that silk to an AI the second that I meet them. It's pretty simple calculus. You settle the city that gets you the most value the fastest, not the city that has the greatest potential. Is religious settlement still as good of a pantheon as it always has been? Yeah, it's just like a really good pantheon. Like there's not much to be said about it. So I don't have quite enough gold to purchase this tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one turn into a unit. Trying to think now. What do I put that turn into? I'm going to put... Do I finish the monument before I build the holy site? I think I can build the monument before I build the holy site. I think that's fine. We're going to get the monument first. You always want to get at least one settler out before you do a major infrastructure project, in my opinion. Getting your second city up is just huge. It's game-changing. Never, ever try to build the Great Bath. I want you to think of this wonder as a buff for the AI. And a bonus if you conquer them. Don't ever, ever try to get that wonder. Hello, AI. Okay, this is perfect. Meeting Canada is nice because I can do things like potentially get money off them. Now, the question of sending a delegation is a pretty hard question because I really, 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 really want to buy this tile to place my holy site. But the city is going to grow there in 2 turns anyway. So I think I can make the decision to send a delegation to Canada. And you always want to send a delegation to the AI if you can, if it doesn't hurt your economy. Because sending a delegation gives you a diplomatic bonus with them that can overcome some of the negative bonuses that you get from later on. Does the plus bonus... No, it does not. Stupid non-flooding rivers. I was able to get really tall cities by using fertility rights, hanging gardens, and 9 charge builders. Yeah. You can do some pretty nutty stuff. Okay, I think it's safe to hit here. This should level him up. Not quite. We're waiting for mining to improve these tiles even more. Ever build a builder in your first few units? No. Almost never. I always rely on my very first builders being acquired through gold, or through goodie huts, or through pantheons. Oh, hello, Maori. Oh, please, God. Okay, he settled far away. That's actually really good. I'm going to send the Maori a delegation as well. You always want to be sending delegations if you can. I'm not going to play too many turns of this game. We'll start another one to be able to talk about the starting location again. I had planned to initially only spend a few minutes on each start. When you hear that barbarian noise, click this button. It'll tell you where the barbarian is. And if you're forgetful, put a goddamn pin on the thing with like a shield on it or something. And then I know there's a barb camp there. Or alternatively, you can click on the map search, bash in Barbarian, outpost search, and it'll show you where they are on the map. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. Little tips there. There's so many like little things in this game. Okay, I have my monument. Let's go ahead and get to work on the holy site. Delete. And 2 turns until mining. Move 1 tile. Improve battle cry. Fortify with scout so that he takes less damage and heals at the end of the turn. Another tribal. Okay, I don't know why you're denouncing me, dude. Alright, whatever. Promotion on scout. Kill first. Don't care. Bronze working. Settle here. That'll clear the barb camp. Which, you know, extra 30 gold for settling a city, basically. Then you want to... Now that I've settled on the luxury, I have this luxury in my inventory. I try to sell it to Cam that he'll give me 5 gold per turn. How much will the Maori give me? He hates me, so he probably won't give me a good value. So it's academic. But I can get 5 gold per turn off of Wilfred Laurier. 5 gold per turn is a huge amount. I know it still says I only have plus 5 gold. The Civ 6 UI only updates when it detects some kind of yield change, which is typically when you move a unit around, like a worker. So you can see here now I'm making 10 gold per turn. I just doubled my gold income and got an extra faith per turn or culture per turn in this city, when normally I would have had to have waited until I got irrigation to get that bonus, right? I don't care about the amenity. I care about the gold. I'm getting an extra 5 gold per turn. I've doubled my gold income. Oh, really, really important tip. Somebody brought it up in chat there. The turn that you meet the AI, provided you are playing on standard speed, if you're playing on anything other than standard speed, the AI will not accept your delegation, in my experience. If you're playing on standard speed, the AI will always accept your delegation the very first turn that you meet them. But yeah, so in this city over here, Handan, we have to make a decision about what we plan to do. Now, my capital is a little bit busy building a holy site. And, you know, it's an open question. Do I want a holy site in this city? Well, let's think about what the city needs and what each district is going to do for the city. The city definitely needs a harbor. Why do I want harbors? Harbors are ways for you to get trade routes. Harbors are ways for you to get gold. Harbors are ways for you to get production. Harbors take care of a lot of the problems that a coastal city is going to have. So a harbor is super, super important. The theater square is my victory condition district. The holy site is my secondary victory condition district, and the other districts aren't super important to me, or there's not a good enough place to put that district to make it worth going for. Perhaps on slower speeds, I have to accept my delegation on quick speed, first turn many times. Yeah, I typically, if I play on speeds other than standard, sending a delegation feels really sketchy and doesn't always work for me. What was I talking about there? Oh, right, capital. I have enough gold to buy another tile. Question, chat. Which of these tiles? This is going to be a fun question. Which of these tiles should I buy? All right, I'm going to put pins on them. Here, I'm going to have it. Do not answer yet. Do not answer yet. Okay, we're going to go with Grass Hill, Rainforest, and Woods. Okay, I want you guys, when I count down from 10, I want you guys to have typed in one of these answers: Grass Hill, Woods, or Rainforest. Which of these tiles do you think I should buy? And I'm going to count down from 10 right now, and I want you guys to vote. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vote in chat by typing it. Grass Hill, Woods. Grass Hill, Woods, Mountain. Do a poll. I'm not going to do a poll because it's Grass Hill. I'm seeing lots of Grass Hill. Rainforest, Woods, Grass Hill. I saw some deserts in there. Who the hell is typing desert? Why are you typing desert? Hill. Okay, Grass Hill, Hill. So there's actually a valid argument to be made for the Rainforest and the grass hill, but really it just kind of comes down to the grass hill. I think I would maybe go for either the rainforest or the woods if I really needed the chop. But really this tile just offers the most value. Just got to make sure that people know why we're doing things, right? This is a 4 food 2 production tile. So imagine this is like, how I want you to think of this is, imagine I'm working this tile, but my worker had no upkeep, okay? That's what this tile is. This is just this tile, but I get to work it for free. That's how you could compare these two tiles, because you always subtract 2 food from the worker. So this is actually just, if you think of terms of net production, this is a +2 production tile. This is a +2 food +2 production tile, because you always shave off 2 food. Yeah, people were like saying mountain. To get close to naturally grow to the 4 food 3 production woods and a good mine. This city is never going to grow to the 4 food 3 production tile, because that's 3 tiles away. This city will never claim these 2 tiles. It's too far. I could attack here for free, get some experience on my guy. Perfect. Right, so we were kind of talking about what to do in this city. So I think a holy site is a valid option. What are other valid options? Well, the campus is a valid option. Do I have a good campus in this city? No, so I'm not going to get a campus. Do I want a commercial hub in the city? Well, I'm building the harbor, and the harbor does the same function as the commercial hub, although I do want some commercial hubs this game, so the answer is no. What about the industrial zone? Do I want an industrial zone in this city? I don't really have good spots to put an industrial zone. Well, there is actually an interesting industrial zone here in this city, and it's going to be very odd to a lot of people. That's if I put a canal here and an industrial zone here. This industrial zone will pick up +1 from these 2 districts, +1 from these 2 districts, and then another +2 from this. So this would be a +4 industrial zone, which is actually not terrible, because we can multiply that by 2 twice to bring it up to a 16 production industrial zone. We multiply it by 2 thanks to the adjacency card, and then again by getting a coal power plant. So this could potentially be a 16 production power plant in this city. Because we're playing China and we can do canals. And we could sort of do similar-ish logic over here with some of these things. Like if I put a canal, I don't know, I could put an industrial zone there. But if I don't plan to get an industrial zone somewhere in my central part of my empire, this could be a good option. Literally just build a canal for the adjacency. I mean, we're playing China. We get access to canals at masonry. So we can build canals really, really early into the game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like building an aqueduct, right? He wants a campus on a position where he can build a great library. Yes, exactly. Do you see the exploit video by Spiffing Brit? Are you going to make a video about it? First of all, I already made a video about that exploit. I'm like 99% sure I did. Second of all, I was the one who told him about that exploit. Flex. Did I not make a video about that? I swear I made a video about that. I'm like 99% sure I made a video about that. Hold on, we're looking at my channel now. I swear I made a video. Oh, maybe I never published it. Wow, I'm an idiot. Oops. Wonder this give it to just Starpins or other cities. Yeah, okay, so what the hell was I talking about? All right, it's taking me about 20 minutes to get to like, what the hell is the city going to build? Do you think the late game orders need to be buffed? Not really. Government Plaza on Rice next to Theater Squares. I mean, if I was going to do a government plaza, I would put it here, because I would rather get adjacency on my industrial zone. Like there. And then put another industrial zone here. So this becomes a +6 industrial zone that multiplied twice and becomes a +24 power industrial zone. And then this one just takes up a +3 mantle. Right? I'm saying? And then that would get multiplied by 2 twice, which would be a 12 production industrial zone. Oh, that's not what that number should be. That's definitely not what that number should be. Hold on. The 300 adjacency holy site exploit. Yeah, I think I did that one. I might have accidentally skipped the multiple district exploit. My bad. Oops. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I covered both of those exploits. Maybe I might not have done a specific video, which is my bad. Okay, so really talking about early investments, monuments are one of the best investments you can make in the early game, and so are military units. Builders, like, districts are actually not that important to invest into early. I know that sounds insane, but things like monuments, builders, and military units, like just a slinger here could be really, really good, or a builder here could be really good, especially playing as China, or getting the monument up really here is really good. Getting the granary here would be really good if I had it unlocked. I think I'm going to go for, if I went for the monument, I would potentially get to political philosophy faster, which would allow me to build the Apadana and the Great Library slightly faster. So I think I'm going to go for a monument in this city. But a monument, a builder, or a slinger are all great ideas here. And if you can place down a district that you want to build later, do that too. But don't actually build it yet. Okay. I think we're going to wrap up this playthrough here in a second, and then we'll start a couple more where we can talk about a little bit more in depth about more things. Don't worry, this start position will be played as a full series on my YouTube channel, because this is just too good not to play it. I completely discovered it by accident as I was just like going about my day. Those games could have the government district for later. I did a 1 city challenge for religion victory last week. It was pretty easy. Is this normal that I have a lot of luck? Were you playing on deity difficulty, Belly? That's like really important information. Like what difficulty level are you playing on and what civ are you playing? And this is a dead unit? No. Alright, animal husbandry is generally what you want to pick up at some point early in the game because it reveals horses. Horses are a good tile. Oops, that was just me being dumb. Like, because I'm not like fully paying attention to the game. I'm kind of trying to think about what I can talk about. Have you ever lost while streaming? Plenty of times. But there you go. Like, I have a holy site now. Turn 26. I have a settler out. I have a holy site built. I can now start to look at the great profit screen and be like, okay, how many people are earning great profit points? Not many. So I'm going to take the time now to maybe get another settler. Maybe I'll get the shrine. Maybe I'll get a military unit, or I'll do 2 holy site prayers to secure my religion. And that's kind of how you would start off a tourism game. And then I would also, I have this western side of my empire planned, but I don't know enough about this eastern side to really make a fully fledged plan. But we'll go through and play this again at a later date. Ah, goddammit, horses cucking me. But those horses there will give me the 6 adjacency that I require. And then maybe I would just put an industrial zone here or something. I want to avoid putting industrial zones close to my coastline, so I might just leave out an industrial zone here. Have you ever played a game where Poland doesn't hate you? No. What do you think the next DLC will be about? I have no idea. I noticed that district adjacency won't show if you need to tech like animal husbandry first to harvest the deer by mountains. Annoying. Yes, but if you're a good enough player, you should be able to calculate that stuff on the fly, on your own, by yourself, no problem. So I'm going to call this the end of like how I would play the opening 20 to 30 turns. And we're going to do another one. And we're going to just go, we're going to use the exact same settings. I do have this saved, right? Turn 1. Yeah, turn 1, China Torres. Exit the main menu. Oxfam in your capital is definitely something I should think about. What's the best win condition? I don't think there is a best win condition. For single player, for multiplayer, it's probably science and domination are like the 2 ways to win in multiplayer. I mean, in team games, you can do some really interesting tourism stuff. But like, I'm not that knowledgeable about multiplayer. So single player, it kind of really just comes down to what kind of challenge you're interested in and what you want to do. What would you like to be the next expansion to be about? I don't know. I'm not really that clever. So we're just going to go random leader, deity difficulty. This time I'm going to do a Pangea map. Last time we did continents. I'll just do Pangea now so that we can kind of see some differences. And we're just going completely default settings, 100% default. And we'll just talk about the start location again. The 1 city challenge was on deity. What do you think is the hardest 1 city challenge? I think the hardest 1 city challenge is Probably
From the first stirrings of life
probably
in
tourism
Forza,
or Diplo. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I don't know.
Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps,
Take a leader that has a shitty spawn.
now begins your
Welcome to Russia.
greatest quest
Das Vidanya, kamerad.
from this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars.
Zdrasty.
Embrace the chill winds.
What are
of
your
the
favorite maps? I like Pangaea. I just like Pangaea.
Your fascination
so
with
straightforward.
science and culture is
What other SIGs are good for tourism?
learn much
Camels.
from your grand ancestors.
Sorry, that was too easy a joke. I just threw up my mouth a little bit there. Sorry. Excuse me. I just threw up my mouth a little bit there looking at this start. Jesus Christ. You still build 2 scouts even on continents. Seems really good on Pangaea, but you risk the second one being much less useless when your landmass is smaller. The scout is still useful for finding other players and barbarian encampments and pushing enemy scouts away from your city. Empty tundra start. Let's have a look. So, let's first talk about Peter's bonuses, right? First one is receive science or culture from trade routes to civilizations that are more advanced than Russia. That means +1 per 3 technologies or civics ahead. Why is this a bad bonus? Because you don't want to be playing from behind. The entire point, guys, is that I won't be restarting. I'm going to be talking about how you take the best advantage of a start that's given to you. So generally speaking, I would consider this just like if you're kind of having a bad game, this gets you back into the game a little bit. But other than that, I would not rely on this as a bonus. Now, Mother Russia, on the other hand, +1 faith, +1 production from tundra. Units do not receive damage from blizzards. Civilizations that are at war with Russia receive 100% unit damage from blizzards in Russian territory. They also get the Cossack. It's a unique unit. It's not that important. I wouldn't base my game around the Cossack. It's more like if you're in a war or plan to go domination, the Cossack is really, really powerful. If it was multiplayer, I absolutely would base a game around this unit because it's ridiculous. But other than that, like you can kill the AI with any set of units, really. Now for Russia, here's something really, really important. If you are playing a civilization, and you see that they have a unique district, you should be basing your entire gameplay strategy around whether or not you are going to be building that unique district. Okay? The Russian Lavra, and the reason for that is because unique districts, civilization unique districts cost half as much production to make. So you literally just get everything you want from them faster. They are half as expensive to build. So if I go in here and I look at the Lavra, I'll give you that point. Sorry, 1 second. I'm getting texted. What was I saying? The Lavra, right? What does the Lavra do for us as a Civ? It's a holy site. Okay, so we know we want to do some sort of faith-based play. Not necessarily religion, but something faith-based. It gives us +2 great prophet points per turn. Damn, that's pretty good. +1 great writer, great artist, and great musician point. Oh, wow, that's amazing. That means normally you only get +1 great prophet point from these things, but we're getting like a total of 5 great people points. That's insanity. And it's all the tourism-y ones. Maybe Russia should play a religious culture game. They have incentives for building holy sites, and their holy sites also incentivize them to get theater squares to actually house the great works that they're generating. This is not possible. I said it's not possible to win a domination victory with one city technically. Well, really, I mean, technically, sure. Technically, it's not possible to win one city on a domination. However, one city domination. However, if you conquer all of the enemy capitals in a single turn, then I would say that it is possible. How would you deal with Hansa? That's like, I'm not going to go into really. I'm going to try to talk about what's on the screen. I'm going to try to talk about what's on the screen. That kind of informs me that as Russia, I probably want to get Lavra really, really fast. And I also want to get my Pantheon really fast, because if I'm going to be building a lot of lavras, in particular in potentially tundra terrain, then I'm going to want to get my Pantheon up early so that I can get perhaps some kind of adjacency bonus for my Pantheon if I plan to build them in a bunch of tundra. What else? So the Mother Russia bonus, since you have a start bias towards tundra and you have a bonus on tundra tiles, that means as Russia, you're a little bit less averse to tundra. In fact, technically speaking, Russia makes tundra tiles better than grassland tiles. However, again, you kind of need to pay that food price somewhere in the line. Turn on music? No. Now, where do we settle this city is a real question. Wait, I was gone for 30 minutes. What happened to China? We're just doing start locations and explanations on what you should be doing in start locations. That's it. That's all we're doing. So we're not playing full games. Did you know the city-state icon appears on the right when you're the first one to meet them, so you don't have to open the city-state tab? Yeah, but I don't pay attention to this. This is probably the most useless area of the screen because everything is the same color, and I just don't look here. That's for me. Some people might find that useful. So how to decide what to harvest a resource when it's in the way, or you can put a better improvement underneath it. Like, for example, I have here a grassland hill. I can harvest the woods and put a mine there. Mines are just kind of better than lumber mills most of the time. Turn on music. No. China Godstart will have its own playthrough. Yes. Aren't the diamond-shaped farms super important for growth? They're triangle-shaped. I could put a triangle of farms here. They're not super important. They're good. That's about it. So in this kind of a configuration, I would consider getting triangle farms because I'm going to want to have a food surplus so that I can justify working these low food tundra tiles. You got a marsh and some stone for production. Yeah. So as Russia in this particular game, let's have a look at a few different possible scenarios. We could settle in place. I'm not going to do a poll for this one. I'll just say place. We could settle in place. We could settle on rice. We could settle... up. Yeah, I think these are really the only two viable locations. And in all honesty, I would never settle on rice here. I would always settle in place here. And the reason why I would settle in place is pretty simple. I can't move anywhere in a single turn that's better than where I am. And I can't move anywhere in 2 turns that's better than where I am. Like, realistically. You could maybe move to the rice. I would probably not begrudge you for moving to the rice, but because I'm playing Russia, I actually kind of want to be near-ish tundra. So I would probably settle in place here. Because Russia's borders expand and grab a bunch of tiles, so I'll have plenty of choices about what I want to work. And I think this is a really, really important point. Always make sure your capital city is working 2 food per citizen at the start of the game. If you want to do that, just click this button. Click. This is like the newbie way. The newbie way to do it is to do nothing, right? And let the city choose what the tile works. Or let the city choose what tile it works. The really good way to do it is to... the less newbie way is to say, I want food early, and then to forget about this, and so your city uselessly works food for the rest of the game. The pro way to do it is to look at all of the tiles, look at the best tile that gives you at least 2 food. The best tile that gives me at least 2 food is this 2 food, 2 production tile. Why 2 food? Let's look at the difference. It takes 14 turns to grow this city with 1 food. It takes 7 turns to grow it with 2 food. Literally doubling how quickly I get my next person. What am I giving up? I'm giving up 1 faith per turn. That's actually kind of a hard deal. It all depends on how important that Tundra Pantheon is to you. For the 2 production and the faith in the city, it's probably not a terrible choice, but I kind of want it to be in place here. I could accept a settlement here. Totally, 100%. You need to settle on Tundra as Russia to have a Pantheon faster? Yeah, probably. But in this particular case, because I'm playing Russia, I want to get this Pantheon online, so I'm going to work that. work that tile. I give up. My thingies take longer to build. Basically, I'm trading 1 food surplus for 1 faith. But I think I didn't want to settle any further up because I could see snow here. And that kind of turned me off of this tile. Moving up. Once I get 9 pop, the next district is after 13. No. You can get the number of districts equal to your population minus 1 divided by 3. You take that number and add 1 to it. So, if you have 1 population, you can build 1 district. You take away 1 population, you have 0 left, so you can build 1 plus 0 districts. If you have 4 population, you can build 1 district, take away 1 population, you have 3 left, divide 3 by 3, you can build 2 districts because 1 plus 1 is 3. So it goes 1, 3, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22. That is how many citizens you need to build each district. Pop plus 2 divided by 3. No, that is not what it is. Why not get a build around Chop That Forest to get a plus 3 holy site? That forest? Because I already talked about how I want to get the Tundra Pantheon as Russia, and I want to put my holy site on Tundra. 1 plus 1 equals 3? No, I said 1. Did I say 1 plus 1 equals 3? I meant 1 plus 1 equals 2. I meant, what I meant was, if you take 1 from 4, you have 3 population, and you can build 2 districts, because 1 population plus 3 equals 2 districts, plus 3 population equals 2 districts. It's hard to explain. Like, it's better if I do it on the... Hold on. It's pretty simple. It's like... I might have misspoke because I was like miles away. But it's basically like you just do... It's 1... You can build 1 plus num, like pops, minus 1 divided by 3. Or divided by 3. That's how many districts you can build, okay? So let's plug in some numbers here. And these have to be round numbers. So if I plug in, if I take this formula, 1 plus, bracket, let me take this formula and I just plug in values, let's say. We're doing maths, boys. If we put 1 in here, 1 minus 1 is, let's do 1, 2. So we can kind of go through the list. 5, 6, 7, 1, this is 0. 0 divided by 3 is 0. So that means we can build 1. Sorry, 1. This is 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 divided by 3 is a third, which is not a round number, which means we can build 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 divided by 3 is not a round number, so we can build 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. I should really do this, shouldn't I? This just works out to 0. This works out to 0.33. 0.66. This is 1, which means it's 2, right? Like, it's pretty simple how the progression works, right? That's the formula. But if you use that equation, do you calculate damage too? No, damage has a random. 1 plus integer, yeah, it's whatever. Like it's communicating the same idea, whatever the exact formula you want to use. That's just how I think of it. It's 1 plus the population minus 1 divided by 3 is the number of districts that I can build. So always worthwhile to scout Tundra to look for tribal villages. Tribal villages are easier to find in Tundra because there tends to be less forest in the way, and there tends to be just a higher concentration of tribal villages in snow for whatever reason. I've never figured out why. Why not grow to 2 pop and work the Tundra then? Because it would slow down how quickly I get my Pantheon. Pretty much the only reason. Oh, there we go. Always look for barb camps to go hunt down early with your warrior. There's the Mali. Honor to meet you. Should not exchange locations of capitals. I'm worried about you. Double settler. Hello, Pantanal. Won't be able to settle the Pantanal this game. Mansa Musa is too close to it. Minor defeat. I'll take just a few turns to heal here while I wait for Code of Laws to finish. Would 7 turns Pantheon slowdown be that bad? Yes. If I don't get my Tundra Pantheon, it's really bad this game. Because I plan to go straight for a holy site. And I think I'm going to put it here. Because I'm Russia and I built holy sites twice as fast, I can kind of get away with it. You want to scout in sort of radial circles. I'm going to pick up Animal Husbandry. Animal Husbandry is always a really good second tech pickup. Let's keep healing. He might attack me again. Mother of Flood. Are you doing a whole game now? No, I'm just taking you through some opening turns about like decision making that I would maybe do. Like, don't forget, I'm not going to play perfectly every time. I'm going to make mistakes. I've been talking for a couple of hours now. So if we just go through, we have a little look around. We're kind of scouting out where we might settle more cities. I have a couple of ideas of where I would settle. This is kind of expected from me. The second I saw Pantanal and the loyalty over here, I kind of expected him to settle there. Let's get the discipline. We do not need that. My city has grown. Is now not working enough food. Work the food tile. I'll switch away from this once I have my Pantheon. I actually do think it would have been better to maybe settle on the pill here. But I'll get the lava here pretty quick. And that'll help out. Could be a Petra game down here. There's a desert. Could be a pyramids. Anytime you see pyramids or desert in your game, think pyramids, not Petra. Pyramids are literally game winning. Okay, I really want to emphasize that. They win you the game. I'm a little bit worried about this guy. He could potentially kill me here. But this is just a hypothetical game. It's not exactly how I would play it. I would maybe play it a little bit more conservatively or something. But yeah. You can kind of see here, we're on track for getting our Pantheon. I would maybe plan a city down here. I would definitely plan a city here for Petra and pyramids here. And there's two main reasons. It's these two quarries. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 harvests within range of a city settled here. That'll get me a Petra. That's literally a free Petra. If I get builders down here and I chop these out with Magnus in here, I just got Petra for free. And then I basically turn all of this land into workable tiles. I love it when the AI builds Petra on the city's only desert tile. Yeah, that's always a pain in the ass. Okay, let's do a restart here. Let's kind of have another look at a start location where we can kind of talk about early game decisions. I spent like an hour and a half on that one start. And I'm going to kind of just run through a couple of them real quick here. Michael Oshima, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate you, man. How to determine damage and promotion with warriors? The +7 combat strength bonus is always better. In my opinion. Yeah, but thank you so much, Michael Oshima, for becoming a member of the channel. Also, a bunch of people are subscribing. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Pyramids boost builders, making you have to build less. No. Pyramids boosting builders does not mean that you have to build less of them. It means any amount of production that you invest into builders is more efficient. See you later, Loco Coco. So, like, it's a pretty simple calculus. Like, if we go up here, I'll just do this really quick. If I have a builder, okay? So builders cost 3 build charges, 50 production, right? Let's assume that is the... let us assume that is the... that is the cost. Let's say cost, okay? Builders cost 50 production. I think it's like 50 plus 3 per is like the actual formula. So let's say baseline cost, blah, blah, blah. I hope you roll Australia. It's Anzac Day today, and it would be super. Yeah, it would be cool to roll Australia. So their cost is 50 production. No, say 200 gold or 200 plus 10 12 per. I think it is. It might be 20 per. I can't remember if it's plus 5 production or plus 10. So if we think about the return on investment, basic worker, right? Basic worker return on investment is 3 charges. Okay? What can we do with 3 charges? In the early game, we could maybe get plus 3 production, plus 3 food, plus 3 production, plus 3 food. We could maybe get plus lux. We could maybe get chop for, you know, say 40 production, say chops in the early game. So a 3 charge builder, you know, they have a lot of return. If I add 1 charge to this builder, I multiply the potential of the builder by 33%, right? And what that means is, instead of spending 50 production or 50 plus 5 production per builder to get 3 charges, I'm doing that to get 4. Like your builders are 33% more efficient, which means you could build 33% more buildings. Let's say if you have a builder that chops 3 times and each time he gets 40 production. If you spend 50 production to get 3 40 production chops, you're spending 50 production to get 120 production. That's a profit of 70 in terms of like productivity across the game. If you spend that same production to get a 4 charge builder, you get like 160 production, which is a profit of 110. Like that's nearly a 50% increase in the profit of what it costs you. Like that's how important getting more builder charges is. It's probably the most important card that I see new players never plug in. Ron Goska, thank you so much for becoming a member. Michael Muchler, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. What's the best multiplayer Civ? There is not a best multiplayer Civ. Please do not spam your questions in chat. I will try to answer everyone that I can, but I cannot. So this is like quintessential example of a really bad starting tile, but actually not a terrible start location. So we have a couple of options. We can either run to the north and settle the truffles, and it would take 2 turns to get to here and then settle for truffles. If these were maybe grassland tiles, I would consider that. Or if this was like rainforest truffles, so it would be 2 food. I'm kind of being pushed away from this area because it's very low on food. Whereas down here, if I settle northeast of this sheep, this is a very high food location. High food locations are important because your city will grow faster, and city growth is incredibly important in the early game. So 100% of the time, I would move down 1 tile this way. I would normally maybe explore this tile first so that I get a better idea of what I'm getting myself into. And I would settle right here. And always make sure you click on your city and lock in the tile that you want to be working, which is currently the sheep tile. Then it's the same thing. Grab a couple of scouts. Start your first tech research. I don't think I'm going to get a religion in this game, so I won't go for astrology. I have access to sheep, so I feel like animal husbandry is a good pick here, because if I find horses, you typically want to go for animal husbandry early because it can reveal horses, which is a really important strategic resource for getting high production yields early in the game. Settle the Plains Hill. The Plains Hill is probably not a terrible settle either. However, I felt like the advantages of being able to move and settle this turn were pretty nice. I would maybe settle the Plains Hill some games. But I kind of felt like I wanted to move down this way. I don't know. I just felt like this was nicer to settle here, because there's... Part of the problem is there's not a lot of hills around here. So settling on a hill really hurts the total amount of production that the city is going to be able to produce. So that's why... It's part of why I didn't settle on the hill there. Does this have enough production? This is plenty of production. There's a hill there, and there's a pasture there. If we didn't have this hill, if I settled on this hill, we'd be a little bit further away from this hill. We'd be closer to these hills and this hill. So, you know, it'd be kind of a bit of a mixed bag, but this is fine right here. Please describe what is your first tech choice based on what factors. 99% of the time, it's going to be animal husbandry. If I'm going for a religion, it's astrology. Pretty much it. That's it. Your very first tech choice, it's either animal husbandry or astrology. There's maybe a few times you might get mining or pottery, but those are pretty niche things. I feel like it really, like, I have a pasture resource. I want to unlock horses. I've got plenty of flat land, plains, and grassland should scream to you, horses, because this kind of terrain is where horses spawn. Flat, grassland, and plains tiles. How are you, Potato Whiskey? I think my voice is getting a little bit tired, so I might wrap this up after this start location. Are early wonders worth it? Sometimes. There's Lisbon, very good. I was the first to meet them. Let's start asking questions. What is my game plan in this game? Well, I'm playing Norway. I'm playing Norway, so I can be like, coastal raiding. So maybe some sort of naval play. I'm on a Pangea map, so naval play isn't so good. We've got the Nar, ocean tiles. Uh-oh, another naval bonus. Oh, Stave Church. Required to purchase apostles. Oh, coastal resources. Looks like this Civ is pretty much all of their bonuses point towards a playstyle that isn't available to me because I'm not on the coastline. So I can do pretty much whatever I want. I think I'm just going to go for a domination victory. Does Lisbon help me win a domination victory? What does Lisbon do? It gives you +4 gold in the capital, market and lighthouses, and gold in the bank. So Lisbon is probably going to be an important city-state for me to maintain my economy long term. Is it okay to not settle on the coast as Norway? If you can find me a piece of coast to settle here, I am more than happy to walk to it and settle it, because I was too far away from it. Yeah, you cannot afford to send a settler on an odyssey to find a coast. Exactly. It's the correct statement there. I'm playing Norway. What is my plan? Venetian Arsenal Colossus. Never build Venetian Arsenal or Colossus, ever, unless you know what you're doing. They're trap wonders. You would be better off spending your production just building a harbour than a Colossus.
I am fond of pig.
It's expensive and doesn't give you enough. Attack. You can attack into a barb camp 3 times if it's on flat land. By the way, with a warrior. Only if it's on flat land. If this was on a hill or if there was forest here, I wouldn't be able to do this. What else? Now that I have animal husbandry, I would be like, well, maybe I'll go for archery. I also want to pick up mining, just in case I want to be able to reveal iron. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, I found some horses over here. I did not find anywhere else. That's fine. Let's see. But you can build a harbor in a Colossus. Doesn't Colossus give +1 trade? A Colossus is really good, don't get me wrong. But it's really bad for players to build it if they don't know what they're doing. Because it's basically like building a lot. Like look at the price of the Colossus and look at where it is in the tech tree. It's excuse me. It's a 400 production wonder that gives you +1 trade route capacity. What do you think is the problem with that? Oh, by the way, I just met Persia. And I met Valletta. Uh-oh. That's my first thought. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. Immediately switch all technology towards archery. If you meet a warmonger Civ, start teching archery. Like immediately. Drop all of your plans. You are not going to be playing a peaceful game this game. You are going to get war decked within the next 15 turns, and you need to be ready. There's Mavemba. Similar rules kind of apply. He can be a dick sometimes. What was I saying? Oh yeah, think about the Colossus, right? It's a 400 production wonder that gives you +1 trade route. A harbour costs you 54 production baseline. A lighthouse costs you 120. This gives you the same value as a Colossus, and it's cheaper, right? And a trader is what, like 40 production? So for half the price of a Colossus, you can get more benefits. So this is just not a very good wonder. Is it better to settle river if low production or off river for good production? Always settle housing. Colossus gives tourism though. You could just, like, who cares? There's plenty of better ways to get tourism. But I'm just kind of scouting in like a lateral pattern. But yeah, my voice is getting a little bit tired. Include settler cost and opportunity cost to having your city make a settler instead of something else. You should settle next to the river unless you have an aqueduct. Your city needs to be able to develop, even if you have a lower production. I would say, generally speaking, unless you know what you're doing, settle on the housing. If you do know what you're doing, it's okay to settle off the housing for more production. But the problem is that in order to work production, you're going to need housing, which means you need fresh water. If you settle off fresh water, having a ton of production doesn't matter for shit, because you can't work those tiles without housing. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to call that the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
thanks for the teaching, learned a ton. Next one, how to make war less of a slugfest, winking face.
Thank you so much, Jacob Buis. Appreciate the €13 donation. Thank you, man. So quick elaboration on the Colossus. Why is the Colossus only good if you know what you're doing? Because it's a really expensive classical era wonder. Like, Lighthouse is 290 production. Jebel Barkal is 400. These are like astronomical differences. 110 production in the early game is like 11 turns of city production. Like, it's just a ridiculous amount of production that this wonder is demanding of you to give you a single trade route. Show us the end of the start first. I pretty much done this start. Like, this is the start, right? I found Persia. I'm going to be having a war game. Nothing I can do about it. I'm probably already dead. He's going to war deck me in like 3 turns.
That is best.
Start pulling my scouts back. Immediately start building slingers. Tech for craftsmanship for Agog and military tradition. Fill policy slots. +1 production. No time to get a Pantheon. Discipline. Right. War deck. He's when you see this is a red flag, by the way. When you see units bouncing around your territory, you are dead.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Now he's healing in my territory. Thank you so much, Sefmi. I'll finish this up real quick here. Yeah, I'm dead. There's very little I can do here. I had no time to prepare. I can maybe buy time. When this warrior is healed, I'm expecting war. Form a front line with your units. Try to minimize the number of tiles that they can attack into. I have enough gold to make this through if I can get my archers out. Fortify your units, so you take less damage. Garrison a warrior in your city. Do not attack out of the city with your warrior. You will make the city weaker. Dead unit. I should have put the slinger here. City should get attacked twice. I'm going to put the slinger here. Hopefully bait an attack across river. Just took too much damage, really. Okay, so now is the moment to attack out. Really? Okay. It's kind of bullshit. But yeah, you see Persia in a game like that and you're dead. Anyway, I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. So, like, pretty much, like, a lot of the times when you're going to meet Persia in your games, you're just going to die. There's very little you can do. I could probably have micromanaged that a little bit if I had put the slinger of 1 tile down southeast. Maybe I could have saved it, but I wasn't really too invested in it. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.